Alright, countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Descent. It's an FPS back from the mid-90s. Was kind of meant to be a Doom killer. Didn't really succeed in that, but it's still a damn good game. Right here I'm doing a death warp to warp back to the entrance because the red door is right here. So every level basically has a reactor that you have to destroy, and then you need to reach the exit. So if you're a fan of Super Metroid-esque escape sequence, time bomb sort of things, you're in luck because there's one every level of the game. First few levels, the enemies are nothing particularly noteworthy, so I can pretty much just explain movement. I'm going to be tilting around at weird angles pretty much the entire time, because this game kind of has, like, strafe running, similar to Doom, except it's with, since it's three-dimensional movement, you have to do it in all three dimensions. What that means is that flying in on all three axes at the same time instead of just one, so like right here, forward, left, and down, is dramatically faster than just flying in one axis. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time looking at corners. So yeah, the first few levels we're just going to be using our basic lasers and concussion missiles. Better weapons are way too far out of the route, so they're not worth picking up. There's a really tight squeeze up here. Let's see if I can get it. Ah, I missed it. You can squeeze between that small Hulk there and the top left corner of the hallway above him and just completely bypass him without needing to kill him. It's a really tight squeeze, though. It's pretty hard to get. That's a pretty good reactor. The Hulks in that room frequently tend to block your shots. Alright, so that's the end of the Moon levels. We're on to the Venus levels. This level introduces the melee bots, the green lifters here. Since they're melee-based, they have the annoying AI that causes them to frequently block your path. So this level, while not too dangerous, how fast it goes is really RNG dependent, because their movement patterns are really kind of erratic. Grabbing the spread fire cannon here. Despite all the smack talk the spread fire cannon tends to get by veteran players, it's actually a pretty solid weapon. It's way better than single lasers, than your basic double lasers, and it's a pretty viable weapon for a good portion of the run. So far, this is a pretty average level 4. Gonna grab a couple new secondary weapons here, proximity bombs and homing missiles. Names are pretty self-explanatory. Proximity bombs don't see too much use in the run. I will be using them very shortly, though, to try and keep my path out from the reactor room clear. So right here, I drop a couple bombs to try and keep enemies from blocking the way out. It's a pretty average level 4. Gonna try and push this Hulk up here to block the spawn. Got it. That makes getting out of that room a little easier. Doesn't necessarily save time, but it makes it more stable. So right there, I picked up the Vulcan cannon. It's the only primary weapon in the game that doesn't use the standard energy. It uses a separate stash of physical ammunition. The damage output on it isn't particularly great, but it is kind of a pseudo hit scan weapon in that the projectiles it fires are invisible and move very fast. So its main use in the run is as a glorified door opener to open doors quickly from a long distance away. Alright, so that's the end of Venus levels. We're on to Mercury. The Mercury levels add in the two worst enemies in the game. First of which you'll see quite a few of in this level are the light drillers. They get Vulcan cannons, like the one I picked up in the last level. If they start shooting on you, their shots are pretty much impossible to dodge and pretty damaging. So, a lot of the routing is planned around dealing with them safely. Thankfully, they have really low health. A single missile will take them down like that. Got another one right there. I should mention those big red spider enemies have a random chance to drop smaller versions of themselves. The amount they drop is completely randomized. It can be anywhere from 0 to, I think, 5. Obviously, the less they drop, the better. Should have explained that. That trap requires an absolutely perfect tricord to get the key and get back out to the invulnerability without dying. Otherwise, you take way too much damage from all the drillers that are hidden in the trapdoors there. Alright, so this is Mercury Core. This is the first boss level of 2. The other boss level obviously being the last level in the game, which is not going to be for a while because it's a 27 level game. So this was the last level for those of you who played the shareware version back in the day. As much as we like the spread fire cannon, the yellow key is way far away from where we need to be, so we're going to be suiciding really shortly to get back to the yellow door. Lava, thankfully, makes it pretty easy to suicide quickly. This red key's a little bit out of the way, too, so I'm going to suicide again. That's actually my last life, though, so now I can't afford any more deaths. The routing as far as death warping is concerned is pretty tight in the first half of the game. Towards the end there's less viable death warps, so you end up racking up a little safety cushion of extra lives. This boss is incredibly RNG. He teleports randomly after every time you damage him. Sometimes he'll teleport on top of you, which usually means you're gonna die. It's also worth noting that homing missiles will not lock onto bosses or reactors, so getting the homing missiles to hit him is pretty difficult. Okay, he's down. Now I just gotta get out alive. We're gonna grab these homing missiles for the next level, and we're home free. Throw out all the light drillers in that room. This level can be pretty dangerous with some bad luck. So far it's going okay though. I actually have really good shield for this point in the level. I might even be able to go for the really big YOLO strats and skip the invulnerability at the end if things keep going well. Grab a cloak there to make that engagement with that Red Hulk there safe. Oh yeah, that's right, I never explained Red Hulks. Red Hulks have one of the highest health count of any enemy in the game, and they also shoot homing missiles, which are obviously kind of hard to dodge. Which makes them pretty much the second most dangerous enemy in the game, behind drillers. Although in certain situations, arguably more dangerous. I'm gonna grab the invuln. That driller randomly roamed forward. That's... oh, this is not good. That was really close. I'm actually gonna quick save right there. Wasted a lot of time there, though, having to keep myself from dying. So this level's gonna be kind of slow. Normally that strategy is pretty safe, but I had the advanced lifters, those four-armed claw bots, come in behind me and block my path to invulnerability. I almost died as a result of that. But it looks like we're good. We've slow to get out of that level. Alright, this level, the route is slightly RNG dependent. I want a cloak drop from this guy. Okay, he gave it to me. That's good. Cloaking devices make enemies completely unaware of your presence as long as you don't collide with anything or shoot anything. And even if you do, it also reduces their accuracy as to where you are, and it only briefly reveals to them where you are. It makes it a lot easier to go through this level without getting hordes of those secondary lifters, those red ones with the single claw and the laser, following you. They have really aggressive AI and will follow you very long distances, so it's best if I have a cloaking device so that they don't even notice me. Good RNG there, none of the lifters blocked the hallway. Oh, roll damage short. Alright, so as much as the quad lasers are great and all, here we get the fusion cannon, which is the ultimate primary weapon. Instead of being an automatic weapon, it's a hold and charge weapon. The damage output on it is huge, and the projectiles will pierce through multiple enemies. The downside is that it shakes your ship randomly while you're charging it, and if you charge it beyond a certain point, it starts to damage you as well. The random shaking is the bigger concern. It makes some shots really difficult. Especially if you're trying to do something like one-shot a Red Hulk, which takes a charge well into the range where it starts damaging you. I'm gonna grab a cloak here. No babies, that's good. Get an invuln here for the ending of the level. This is the level that has the first secret exit, so I would be taking that if it were an all levels run, but apparently the donation incentive wasn't met or whatever. Okay, a bit of a weird strat here. I'm going to ram this guy to push him out of the way, to make it easier to get through the door. Drop the reactor with a one fusion shot, and get out before my invulnerability runs out. Without that invulnerability, those Red Hulks would rip me to shreds. And that is the Mars levels. Hopefully we get a cloak here. Oh yeah, we didn't. That makes this level a little more difficult, but not too bad. I've got good shields, I can skip the safety pickup. Alright, this level introduces enemies that lay proximity mines. They're generally not too problematic, but sometimes they can be a little trolly. Okay. The reactor room's a little dangerous. There's a ton of those mine layers, and they also kind of camouflage with the lava. Alright. This level's got a bit of a tricky start. That's kind of low on shield. I'm gonna grab the cloaking devices over here for safety. The red key's very far away from the start, and the red door is right here. So, but I don't want to give up my fusion cannon, so I'm gonna store it right here. The rest of the level's easy enough to do with that spread fire cannon that's right near the start. Especially with that invulnerability power-up, we can actually power through getting all the rest of the keys before the invulnerability wears off if we're fast enough. Alright, and we picked up a Mega Missile, which makes it super easy to suicide really quickly, as soon as the invulnerability wears off. So now we've got all the keys, we just run back here, pick up all our gear again, finish the level. Alright, level 13 here, Europa Mining Colony, is the longest and one of the most dangerous levels in the game. Really, shield drop is good though. I'm going to be grabbing a cloaking device here, and the goal, as far as the route is concerned, is to use this cloaking device to take out as many Red Hulks as possible before it wears off. There are forced engagements with, I think, about 8 Red Hulks in this level. And obviously, if you're cloaked, the homing devices can't track you, so it makes them a lot easier to deal with. Okay. Alright, that went well. Alright, we're going to use a Mega Missile here to take out some drillers and a Red Hulk. 66 shield is pretty good, so there's a secret shield stash up in the ceiling there. I'm going to pass up on it. Alright, one more Red Hulk to kill. I missed with my fusion shot. It's okay, just waste a little time. Alright, coming up we have a really tricky reactor shot. The fusion cannon's got really huge hitboxes on the projectiles, which means they clip onto walls pretty easily, and they come to a dead stop when they hit a wall, so... There we go, got it. there's 3 red hulks in that room surrounding the reactor, so you have very little time to line up that shot before you eat like 6 homing missiles. Homing missiles do over 20 damage on hit, I believe. So obviously I can't afford that. Alright. Right at the start here, again, we are, that was a little bit sloppy on that suicide, but yeah, well. I'm not going to do the double death warp there. The red door being right at the start, we don't really want to fly all the way back from getting the red key, so again, suicide to drop all my gear there for later pickup. Normally I don't pick up that invulnerability and I do a suicide right after the blue key to warp again, but considering the sloppy positioning on my dropped items back there, I'm not sure I can risk it. I might accidentally pick up an item I need later on the way out. Doing a second death warp after the blue key saves about 3 seconds. It's pretty small. I'm actually going to do a quick save up here because this mat sent out here has a tendency to troll. It can spawn light drillers and red hulks. And if it does, it can cause a lot of problems. Thankfully, I made it past without getting killed. I also got the cloaking device, which makes this a lot easier. Alright, there we go. Kind of a slow 14, but again, we're not dead. Which is the important part here. So we're going to reclaim all the stuff we dropped, and then kill the reactor, and get out of here.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Alright, so that's the end of the levels surrounding Jupiter. So now we're on the Saturn levels, which are quite a bit easier. So it's a little bit more slow-paced of a segment. This whole level is just based around medium hulks, which are the brown ones here that shoot dumbfire concussion missiles. They're not too dangerous. I should also add, though, the reactor gets more, has increasing health every level. This is actually the last level where a single fully charged fusion shot will drop it in one shot. That guy sometimes randomly moves up like that. It's kind of annoying. After this level, I'll be needing to add missiles or extra fusion shots. Grab a cloak there because there's 2 red hulks guarding this key. And then an invuln here for the reactor quick kill. Because there's more red hulks blocking the way here, I don't really want to deal with them.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Alright. So yeah, at this point, we can no longer drop the reactors in one shot. So this level in particular has a bit of a weird setup for the quick kill on the reactor. I'm going to need a cloaking device to drop a little bit before the reactor, and then I'm going to need to use a smart missile to clear out the hallway into it while I start charging my fusion shot. It's a little tricky, but saves quite a bit of time if you can pull it off. It does take a bit of luck, too, as far as enemy movement's concerned. Pretty low on shield. Drop a quick save there. There's the cloak we need. Alright. See if we can get this quick kill. Yeah, that lifter blocked me. There we go. That's how it's supposed to go. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way the first time, so I had to load. Alright. Level 17 introduces these gopher bots. They're fairly tanky for a small enemy, and they have AI that forces them to move in the middle of hallways and drop mines. And they're impossible to push around particularly easily, so they're kind of annoying if you're stuck behind them. But otherwise, they're not too noteworthy. One of those drillers moved out of his normal position. I don't know where he is. Okay, I'm gonna want a cloak drop here. There it is. Grab an invulnerability here so that I can take out the reactor without having to worry about any other enemies in the room. There we go. Alright, so now we're onto the Uranus levels. This one starts with a few death warps. So right after we get the blue key here, we're gonna just deposit our items up here. And then go right here for the yellow key. And then from now on, this level's pretty straightforward. I did not kill that driller. That's a little annoying. Hopefully he doesn't follow me. Oh, just barely shy of getting that double kill. Alright, and that's the Miranda mine. Next up we have the Oberon mine. Couple dangerous spots, but nothing too strange about this stage. Almost guaranteed to take a little damage up here because this Red Hulk mysteriously gains the ability to shoot out from behind. There's a couple points where that happens, and I'm not quite sure why it does. Save, not key mappings. Alright. This reactor room is generally not too problematic. Just do a lap around it to avoid taking damage, and head out. Alright, next level is the most RNG dependent game level in the game. All of the keys are held by enemies. Their starting positions are consistent, but their movement is not. So, a bad pattern as far as the keybot movement goes, can mean losing like a full minute just to this level alone. Alright, got the yellow one. The red one's the most flaky one though. Yeah, he moved. There he is. Got him. That's really good. I got a really tricky Mega Missile shot up here, though. There we go, got it. If you're a little off on that shot, it just crashes into the grate, blows up in your face, and kills you instantly. But there's two Red Hulks guarding the reactor, and we need those gone. Assuming good RNG, though, this is one of the shortest levels in the game. You'll note sometimes that when I have cloaking devices, I'm just shooting the wall pointlessly. That's entirely just to redirect the attention of enemies in the room. They'll always turn, whenever a shot hits the wall, they'll turn to your current position and start shooting there. A little bit of a weird door puzzle there, where you have to go into those doors and hit triggers, but... Alright, level 22's got a lot of dangerous spots. We're gonna open up with the Death Warp right away, just to store our gear there. I think I heard the Light Driller notice me. That's bad when that happens. Looks like he's not following me though, that's good. Couple tricky homing missile dodges here. Oh, ouch. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, that's an extra death. That's okay, though. It's not too much time wasted, as long as I don't die again, which I'm gonna do. I can't finish the last part of the level safely with only 10 shields, so... Jesus. Light drillers started roaming everywhere too. That kind of gums up the works a lot. So this level isn't going particularly well. It's hard to get back here with only basic lasers. Alright, we should be good for the rest of the level now. As long as I don't mess up movement in this tower. There's two Red Hulks at the top of this spiral, which I'll use as a Mega Missile to clear out. And once we grab the red key, we'll just suicide and go back to the start. Pick up our gear from earlier in the run. There's a ton of Matsens in this room that spawn light drillers, which is why that room is so damn loud. Alright. This level adds the last common enemy in the game, the Fusion Hulk. I'll be doing pretty much everything I can to avoid direct confrontations with one, though. A direct shot from a fusion cannon does about 65 damage to you, so it's not something you want. The only ones we'll be seeing are in the reactor room. And so long as movement RNG plays nice, I won't even have to worry about them. Clear out that guy in advance, because I don't want to deal with him later. Drop a mine here, because the light driller is in that trapdoor hidden there. Oh, got an early cloak drop. That's actually pretty good. Hopefully I made it down here before everything started roaming. Yes, I did. Good. Enemies start roaming randomly after a certain amount of time. The time is slightly randomized. So the best way to keep it from happening is to just go fast. The faster you go, the less likely enemies are to start roaming. A couple more mines dropped there to block some light drillers. Fusion Hulks have not moved, so I can just sit here and tank that. If the Fusion Hulks have moved forward, then I have to take a more passive approach with the reactor kill. But when they're back there, they can't hit me. Alright, this level's a big maze with a bunch of like, concentric rings, but when you actually know where you're supposed to be going, it's really short. Thankfully, Fusion Hulks, while they're potentially the most dangerous enemy in the game, pretty much every encounter you have with one in the route, you'll have while invulnerable. So, they're really not too much to worry about.
Self-destruct sequence activated.
Alright, and this is the end of the Neptune levels. Now we're on to the Pluto levels, because this was made back when Pluto was still considered a planet. So, any of you are still mad about Pluto being kicked out of the solar system, though. There's not too many dangerous enemies in this level, but there are a couple dangerous spots, though. Particularly by the red key, there's a room with a very low hallway. As I mentioned before, Fusion Cannon has huge hitboxes on its projectiles, and the low ceiling makes it extremely difficult to get a shot that goes straight down the hallway without colliding with the ceiling or floor. So it's coming up right here. Okay, I got the shot off. That's good. But yeah, it's an extremely precise angle you need, and as I mentioned before, the fusion cannon shakes your shit constantly while you're charging it. So that's a really, really hard shot. But now we've gotten invulnerability for the rest of the level, so nothing to worry about. We're almost to the end of this run. This is level 26. We're going to open up with another Death Warp. Store our gear over this way. My death explosion thankfully killed that drone, so he won't get in the way later. That's kind of low on the shield front. I'm going to have to play this Red Hulk encounter up here a little safe. I'm going to have to drop a save really quick, actually. I'm going to bait out a missile shot there. There we go. So this level would be dangerous for the fact that this is the only level in the game where there's a Matsen that spawns Fusion Hulks, which obviously is about as dangerous as it sounds. But you pretty much get carried by cloaks and invulnerabilities for the duration of the entire level. Ironically, a death warp after grabbing the yellow key would be really efficient, but it's literally impossible to do so because there's an invulnerability right before it that you are forced to pick up. So we can't death warp because we can't kill ourselves. So picking up mega missiles here, maxing out the stash of them for the final boss fight. Alright, and that's level 26. And now we go on to the last level, the Charon Volatile Mine. Gonna shoot a Mega Missile right here to clear out that Red Hulk early. And for the rest of the level, we should be able to be invulnerable for any significantly dangerous encounters. Keyword being should. Sometimes RNG has a way of messing with your plans. I think that guy died. I'm not sure, though. I'm going to charge a shot just in case. Okay, he did. Alright, final boss is actually a lot less dangerous than the first boss. He only has 4 spots in the arena you can teleport to, and there's invulnerability available in the arena. Which I almost got blocked, too. That happens sometimes. Annoyingly, if his AI goes active early, he starts spawning enemies in the room. And he has the same trait as the other bosses and reactors, that homing missiles will not lock onto bosses if there are other enemies. That fight went really badly because all of my Mega Missiles didn't hit him. I'm gonna have to go grab this other invulnerability really quick. Although he should be very near dead. Yeah, there he goes. Now we just wait for the door to open. Get ready on time. Time. Alright, so that was Descent. Hope you guys all managed to hold your lunches. That's in-game time doesn't mean anything because that was segmented. I had to load a save at one point. But yeah, looks like 44. I'm pretty sure that was low 44s. I'm looking at it. Looking at the stream now, yeah, 44-17. Yeah, that's a respectable run. Anything sub 45 is pretty good.